After watching this interview with Ja Morant and Jalen Rose, it is very clear that in order for Ja Morant to be seen as innocent or not guilty, he has to be seen as less black as possible. Let's talk about it.
Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on.
So what's going on, you all? I know y'all looking like, what do you mean less black? He's a black man. We're gonna get to that. I wanna have a conversation about this interview with Ja Morant and Jalen Rose. You all know, I've been paying attention to the things that's been going on with Ja Morant the last year or whatever. I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a mess. I know I've been seeing him in some stuff for the last couple of months, and now he is dealing with a suspension from the league. They've suspended him for 7 games. He set out some games, and now he is in his rehabilitation phase or whatever. I think it's been 11 days. And now he is being paraded and doing this PR, public relations conversation about his image and what's happening next, and, you know, essentially holding him accountable. But in this interview, before I even listened to the audio, as a person who loves public relations, like PR, if I was not doing YouTube full time, I would still be in school learning and probably teaching public relations, because I just find it so fascinating. But as a person who also understands anti-blackness and talks about it a lot and has learned a lot over the years, I see a clash and a connection with it that is very clear as day. So when I'm watching the interview, I'm not even listening to the things that Ja Morant is even saying. I'm paying attention to how he's being presented. And that's what I want to talk about, because it's very clear, it's very in your face. And I will give you the tools to be able to see it. Like, I first have to give you all knowledge for those who might be confused and like, what do you mean less black? So we already know that blackness essentially is unprofessional. Let's just get that out the way. Blackness in itself is unprofessional. From the hair texture, how our hair grows out of our head, is unprofessional. There's so many articles and so many conversations, so many videos of how black people, specifically black women, are treated in the workplace when it comes to their hair. Even in the military, when I was in the military, black women were like very criticized and crucified for their braids or locks or whatever. Locks, I have locks. Unprofessional. We've been hearing like locks are unprofessional. You can't really find too many black women or black men that are news reporters for mainstream like news organizations, CNN, MSNBC, that are wearing natural hair in front of eyes. You just don't see it. Like, you might see a reporter on the beat doing some stuff, or but then in front of you, like anchor late night news, morning news is giving straight hair. 9 times out of 10, that's just what it is. And like, black women know this, black folks know this, black men know it too, that anything else than a short haircut is unprofessional. Like, you need to cut your hair. They just need to cut your hair. That's what it is. We just saw a picture of a child get his hair cut as a punishment. I can't remember the whole story, but I think he had his locks cut off or something. Like, that is, we've seen that even when it comes to teaching like young black youth professionalism. Like, they have to cut their hair. Like, you just have to cut your locks. You have to. That's a punishment. In order to be seen as professional, you have to have like a shortcut. Like, that's just what it is. So instead of like Ja Morant, like his hair being cut, what do? They pull his hair back. Like, he has his hair pulled back. Ja Morant is known for his hair. Like, his hair is iconic. He has those 2 or 3 locks that are dyed, and we see that. You can't see that, it's not visible. Even the cut slits in his eyebrows are gone. That's something young black men do. That's gone. His eyebrows are not grown in. They might have, put a little shave and stuff in there, colored them in or whatever. That's gone. He is not wearing his iconic grill. Grill is just not present. You don't see it. You just don't see it at all. Even the outfit and stuff he's wearing looks like something out of Sears. Like, he not dressed up, it's not that. And people will say, Well, what does that have to do with that? Like, people do that all the time. Like, people don't, wear stuff like that when it comes to like interviews and stuff. You have to look professional. But why does how you look matter so much of how people treat you and perceive you? Why is that? So, and we know there are people who do dress professional and do all of these things and still perform harm. There are whole white men in suits who go to the Capitol every day or pretend to go to the Capitol, because a lot of them don't even be there, who make laws who hurt us. There are white men wearing suits and look professional who write laws and are responsible for the harm and the genocide of black and brown folks around the globe. Please miss me with the professionalism. But who taught us professionalism? Where does professionalism come from? Who gets to determine what is professional and what isn't professional? Colonialism, colonization has done a number on us. And I feel like it's very important for us to understand that. In order for us to understand how black folks are treated in situations like this, Ja Morant has to be seen as less as black as possible. He cannot be associated with anything black in this interview, because essentially he is a black man that is already guilty because he's black. You are already a thug. You have to prove to us that you're not a thug. You won't probably be able to convince us, but at least we won't be able to think about it anymore, because we'll be able to reference things that make you less thug as possible. And the people who are coaching Ja Morant know this. They are not dumb. And it's just erasure. Like, they're not making him bleach his skin, but there's other ways to erase like cultural things and stuff that are associated with blackness to make you seem as though like you are innocent. Because the thing is to make Ja Morant seem like he's innocent of the crimes or the things he's been accused of. Because at the end of the day, the league, the NBA, is only really concerned about the image of their brand. And they don't want that affected. The NBA is not concerned about harm. They're not concerned about like being less harmful. If that was the case, the NBA wouldn't have had all these games and filling these stadiums in the middle of the pandemic and had these basketball players. There's so much stuff that the league has let pass by and went, and they've not done anything about it. But it's about image. It's about image. So we need to make sure that Ja Morant comes on here and he is very proper in all these things. Ja Morant is essentially being put on the stand for gun violence. Unfortunately, they're making it seem as though he's responsible for all the gun violence that's going on in America. Like, he's responsible for all the black gun violence, the black on black crime, all of that. You are a statistic. You need to be telling these black folks to get in order and getting their stuff together. That's what it's giving to me. That's what it's given to me. Now, we can have a conversation about Ja Morant and his antics and the things that he has done when it comes to his mama, when it comes to people. So we can talk about that. I am not interested in beating him up for the things. I think Ja Morant is young. He's black. He's seeing more money than his peers would ever. A lot of them would never see in their lifetime. He is young. He's doing stupid things. And he essentially is responsible for a lot of people supporting him like eating. And that's not something that Ja Morant has created. He didn't create poverty. He didn't create anti-blackness. But he has to, unfortunately, he has to perform and do these things in order for folks that he's supporting to eat. Because if Ja Morant doesn't eat, there's probably a lot of families that he supports, they're not going to be able to eat. They ain't not going to be able to, have the lifestyles and stuff. And that's not something that Ja Morant has. That's not something that he's responsible for. Like, that's not something that he should be responsible for. But unfortunately, he is. And that's a lot of things that happen to black athletes. Like, it happens to like you need to be you need to be the token Negro for us. Like, you need to be there. You need to show that it's different. But Ja Morant is not a person that's responsible for the laws and stuff that's being created to keep black and brown folks down. but he needs to keep the hope alive, unfortunately. So I know I'm getting off a little bit, but I just want people to understand what is happening. Yes, some of the stuff that Ja Morant has done was stupid and he shouldn't have been doing. This thing with the strip club stuff, that was a breach of his privacy. I don't care what Ja Morant is doing in the strip club as long as everybody's consenting and the girls are being paid. I would be doing the same thing if I had that type of money, period. I'll be out here supporting the girls, the dolls, the boys too, period. And that's his business. But they sold him out, unfortunately, because they were able to attach that to him. He's a black man. He's 3-4 baby mamas, strip club, all the other stuff. All these images that are associated with blackness and these stereotypes and stuff are being put on him. So we have to remove that in this interview for him not to be seen as that person, to get that image completely gone. The eyebrows not cut. The locks pull back so you don't see him. You don't see the dyed locks. You don't see the grill. His tattoos and stuff are covered. He has plenty of clothes on. Like, people are always, baby, they are not finding any type of shit. When I tell you PR is so strong that it's even down to the tie, the jacket, and the shirt you wear, no makeup, all of it, because you need to seem as though you are innocent. A lot of, when you watch a lot of court documents, or like look at a lot of courts, like videos and stuff and proceedings and things, when like a said person is like being accused of a crime or something, and they have had long hair, the lawyers and stuff have a team with them like, cut your hair and grow it back, like, because you need to, like, we saw that with the person who can't even grow hair. We saw that with what's his name? I can't think of the boy name. Girl, that's Tory Lanez. Like, we saw that to him wearing like these pink suits and these other stuff. Like, he needs to look less like a thug as possible so he wouldn't be convicted. So we know that. We know that black folks are police. We see what happens in New York. We see what happens across the country when police officers are pulling black folks over, stopping them because of what they look like, because they are sagging their pants and all the other stuff, or like they not dressed professional and stuff like that. So stupid that there are some idiots that believe that black men wearing suits will stop them from experiencing police brutality. That's how ingrained this stuff, like, they think that stuff is. But it's more complicated than that. It's way more complex than that. But Ja Morant in this interview, without any audio before he's even speaking, has to perform from how he is, like how his like movements, all of that. Like, he very animated. He dances and stuff on the court. He does all type of silly stuff. He's not doing any of that. Like, any of that. And the stuff that made Ja Morant, and the things that make people connect to him is no longer visible in this interview. So I'm really confused of how he's supposed to be talking to men, specifically black men, about therapy and the purpose, the reasons behind like getting therapy and not being soft if you go to therapy. Y'all have essentially like erased him in this interview, that for folks, black folks who are doing the things that y'all are taking away from Ja Morant, they're not connecting with him in this video, like in this interview, because at the end of the day, this is not for them. This is for white ticket payers and customers to feel comfortable supporting the NBA and supporting the league, the Grizzlies and all that. Like, that's what that's for. It's not about black folks. We can pretend, oh, we just want him to do better and like be a better role model. Ja Morant should not have to be a role model. He should not. He should be a good person. He shouldn't be causing harm to folks. But this role model stuff is a farce, to be honest. What does it mean when someone is essentially a role model? That's not helping black folks get access to health care and resources and housing and anything else. What is that? It just gives them hope that maybe one day they'll be able to get where Ja Morant is at if they're successful, if they keep their heads up and be in school and all the other stuff. And it honestly sounds like how black billionaires speak to black folks living in poverty, that maybe one day you'll become a black billionaire. And to be honest, it's less likely never going to happen, because that's not how the world works. That's not how capitalism works. That's just not how it is. A lot of us will die in poverty. That's the truth. That is the truth. We see that every day. Black capitalism won't save us. Black respectability won't save us. Anti-blackness will not save us. Professionalism is not going to save us. It'll probably save Ja Morant in this situation as far as his image. But once the NBA has gotten everything they needed from him, they'll discard him like they do every other black player. The same way the NFL does. Like the same way other major institutions do with bodies, specifically black bodies, like use, abuse, discard. But right now, Ja Morant has to perform this level of professionalism for him to be accepted back. And it's quite interesting. So even listening to Ja Morant speak and how he's answering their questions and the questions he's choosing not to engage in and how he's answering them, it's very specific, because the stuff that doesn't make sense, if he was to speak on it, he's not going to speak on it. The stuff that he can turn around and flip it, he'll respond to it and say, I'm a better person, I'm learning. I don't think there's much that Ja Morant could have learned in 11 days. I don't think that's what it is, but I don't think, again, the NBA is interested in him actually changing or being better. They're interested in the image. Disappear for a minute, come back, no haircut, hair pulled to the back, no obvious blackness, no grill, no none of that. Come here and talk professional. Don't use any IV. Don't use any type of black like vernacular. Speak professional. Use quote unquote plain English, so folks can see you as less black as possible. So therefore we can see you as innocent and not guilty. And I saw it. Like I saw it all in this interview. And I'm not sure if a lot of other people like have seen it, but I hope that with this video and me talking about it, I hope people somewhat understand what I am saying. I know some people won't, because the internalized anti-blackness is so strong that people cannot see that white people have already essentially made us unprofessional. So there is nothing you can do to be professional. Like respectability, all of that is anti-blackness. All of that. Someone telling you like to pull up your pants to be seen as human. Like what is someone like their image and how they're displayed? What is that? How does that make a determination of how they are judged? And again, because black people and my other minorities are judged on based off of what they look like, because they're already black or brown, you're already other. So the least that you can do is dress up like us. So then we can maybe see you as human, but we still won't treat you like one.